Why does the mind so quickly give in to ease, distraction, and pleasure? Yet it finds it hard to hold on to concentration, work, and self-control. Why does it feel easy to keep scrolling, delay hard tasks, or dodge responsibility, but so tough to stay consistent with what really counts? The Stoics grasped this long ago. The real barrier is seldom external. It hides inside the mind, in those urges that chase comfort instead of meaning. Energy drops, drive fades, yet the habits that build a meaningful life require steady discipline. Mastery, purposeful deeds, and lasting results all ask for endurance. Every decision, every routine, every intentional move tests your inner resolve. It is not the outside world blocking your way. It is the untrained mind that yields to passing comfort. Real power grows through resistance, through showing up when the work feels heavy, when conditions are far from ideal, when temptation calls softly. Marcus Aurelius once observed that the obstacle to action becomes the path forward. What blocks you actually propels you. When the mind learns to move forward, even against its craving for comfort, steadiness turns from a battle into a practiced ability. Each modest, conscious step builds a solid base of unbreakable self-assurance. The decision to act when your body feels weary, your thoughts wander, or situations feel inconvenient marks the place where genuine mastery forms. Over time, the ability to direct your life from within takes the place of depending on passing motivation or outside circumstances. Consider those times when plans fall apart, when the alarm rings but exhaustion weighs you down, when a task slips behind schedule or others doubt your path and heavy uncertainty presses in. Most people stop or delay because they have formed habits that demand ideal settings, high energy, sharp attention, and unbroken time. Yet authentic confidence, the sort that holds steady, is created in imperfection. If you only achieve when everything flows smoothly, you have never really achieved anything meaningful. The obstacle to action becomes the path forward. What stands in the way becomes the way. True mastery arises from taking action when situations turn messy and demanding, the steps you take when tired, the outreach you make when unsure. These build a firm foundation. Passing motivation cannot be trusted. What counts is the framework you have constructed, the daily practices that continue no matter your mood. Energy takes second place to systems, preparation, and firm resolve. Confidence gained in this manner no longer depends on outside factors. It is deliberately built. Even when you clearly know what needs doing, your mind will push back. It offers excuses, heightens unease, and invents countless reasons to delay for a better time. Yet steadiness seldom involves flawlessness. It centers on endurance. You discover how to divide outer disorder from the order you can establish inside. This does not mean ignoring facts. It means answering with purpose instead of impulse. On days when your body feels drained or thoughts feel scattered, modest moves add up to real advancement. One forward step serves as evidence that command lies within. Epictetus once noted that events themselves do not trouble us, but our judgment of them does. The way we see hardship decides if we collapse or advance. Every difficulty offers a chance to show that your ability is shaped not by conditions, but by discipline. When you move forward under less than perfect settings, inner strength develops quietly. It lacks flash and seldom feels grand at the time, yet the mind stores the memory. Across time, the gathering of small purposeful decisions creates a strong core of assurance. It stays calm when plans collapse or deadlines approach. because it has been trained repeatedly under strain. Achievement is not about flawless days. It is about choosing to move forward despite flaws. The outreach that feels awkward, the work that drains you, the talk that frightens you. These become the proving grounds for self-command. When disorder strikes, it fails to break you because you have already practiced within it. The quiet strength of these instances lies in how they teach you to prize the process above results. Advancement seldom follows a straight line, and expecting perfect conditions leads quickest to stand still. Each modest act of bravery amid pressure, each choice made amid weariness and doubt, constructs assurance from deep within. Carl Jung once remarked that enlightenment does not arrive by picturing brightness, but by bringing darkness into awareness. Meeting hardship with full awareness rather than escape reveals hidden parts of yourself that once lay idle. Those parts, once recognized and engaged, grow into real power. Assurance then stands free from any person or external element. You start facing difficulties without dread, because your base rests inside, formed by purposeful decisions. Yet carrying out the proper action steadily goes beyond mere appearance. You must recognize exactly what you are exchanging. Every routine, every deed fulfills some need. Checking your device right after waking may offer quick ease. Skipping a tough duty may briefly lessen strain. If you drop these patterns without grasping their role, the mind will replace them, usually with something simpler, less useful, or even damaging. Awareness brings strength. Ask yourself what purpose that routine actually served. Swap it for something that meets the same need but in a helpful manner. Quiet reflection can take the place of mindless browsing. A brief stroll can ease the urge to escape. Each thoughtful exchange deepens faith in yourself across time. These steady, modest choices gather into firm self-assurance. Action lacking support stays weak. The mind requires recognition to keep going. Honor small successes. Monitor your conduct instead of awaiting far-off outcomes. Sending one message, finishing one outreach, or advancing one step toward a larger aim may seem trivial, yet these tiny triumphs build up. Acknowledging effort, even in simple ways, strengthens the link between action and advancement in the mind. Assurance develops quietly, rooted in clear proof of your ability rather than outside approval. All these elements combine into a network of discipline, review, and thoughtful exchange. Moving ahead under imperfect settings, consciously swapping old patterns, reviewing your conduct each day, eliminating hesitation, and forming strong routines let you rise above fear, distraction, and inner doubt. The calm mind, ready for life's disorder, proceeds with accuracy and force. Strength begins inside, in the careful shaping of your deeds. That is dangerous confidence, the type that holds steady because it rests on solid ground, training, and clear purpose. In the end, confidence is not a final goal. It is a structured approach. It does not mean feeling bold each day. It means building frameworks that render fear unimportant. Life will challenge you. Pressure will build. Distractions will arise. Setbacks will occur. But when you have shaped your routines, trained your thinking, and examined your deeds, nothing can halt you. Step by step, day by day, you grow into someone who acts, succeeds, and continues, not because conditions stay smooth, but because you stand ready for whatever comes. Aristotle once stated that we become what we do repeatedly. Excellence, therefore, is not a single deed, but a habit. Each purposeful deed builds into a mind that stays firm, clear, and steady. If you wish to live with clear direction, to fortify your thinking and sharpen your attention, think about subscribing as a daily signal that your development rests in your hands, and your intentional deeds form the base of a life led by meaning and command. At times, the weight feels crushing, and the first impulse is to seek quick fixes or brief relief. The urge to stop grows strongest when the stakes rise and discomfort peaks. Yet it is exactly in those moments that self-control turns sacred. Seneca once observed that our time is not too brief, but that we squander much of it. When you act in spite of resistance, you recover the moments and vitality that hesitation would have wasted. You start to see that purposeful movement under strain offers the most direct path to development, and that assurance arises as a result of continued effort rather than a sudden surge. It also matters to separate mere activity from real advancement. Busy tasks, automatic replies, or working only when convenient fail to create the inner strength we describe. Genuine movement aims at mastery instead of simple completion. Each choice, to act, each step taken despite tiredness or distraction, gathers into a mind able to face upheaval without breaking. This discipline gradually reshapes how you view challenge itself. What once appeared dangerous now signals opportunity. Your thinking grows skilled at seeing disorder not as a barrier, but as the usual setting where ability, endurance, and assurance take shape. Every reversal becomes a cue to move. Every uneasy moment becomes practice ground. Socrates once declared that the unexamined life holds no value. Here examination means active review of every choice, every reply, every delay, with immediate adjustment. This ongoing review changes fear into movement, doubt into order, and delay into command. By stepping again and again into this cycle of purposeful effort amid imperfection, you start building a self that outside events cannot easily shake. You realize the world will always test you, and that expecting perfect conditions equals surrender. Each modest deed under pressure forms a beginning, a stone in the base of unrelenting assurance. Once you fully accept this truth, you stop being thrown by outside forces. You stop depending on chance, drive, or approval. The trained and disciplined mind becomes the origin of power, and assurance shifts from a passing feeling into a lasting, crafted condition. Yet carrying out the proper action steadily goes beyond mere appearance. It involves grasping the empty space left when you drop an old pattern. Every routine, every deed serves some purpose, even those that seem pointless. Checking your device right after waking may bring a feeling of ease. Avoiding a tough discussion may briefly soften tension. The issue arises when you simply drop the routine without seeing its role. The mind then fills the gap, often choosing something simpler, more instantly pleasing, or even harmful to your longer aims. Awareness marks the first move toward command. If you can stop and ask what that routine truly provided and what need it met, you begin uncovering the unseen pattern in your conduct. Swapping a routine is not about blind force. It means offering your mind a wiser option. The exchange need not be grand. It only has to meet the same basic urge in a manner that aids growth rather than weakens it. Quiet reflection can replace mindless browsing. A stroll can replace the urge to grab a snack when pressure rises. Writing one line toward an aim can replace dodging a task that feels too heavy. Each aware choice gradually reshapes the mind. When you deliberately handle the roles of your routines, you teach yourself that command comes from within, not from outside. The mind starts trusting you because it sees steadiness in your replies. You stop being ruled by passing wants or urges. Instead, you become the designer of your deeds. With each successful exchange, assurance grows, not because you feel unbeatable right then, but because you have piled up many small wins that prove your ability to yourself. Carl Jung once said, "I am not what happened to me. I am what I choose to become." Each time you swap an old unhelpful routine for something that matches your aim, you choose to grow stronger, tougher, and more able. It is simple to undervalue the strength of small, thoughtful swaps. You may view dropping one routine or trading one activity as minor, yet the impact gathers. Think about the morning practice you create. Choosing 10 minutes of writing instead of browsing feeds does not seem life-changing on the first day. By the fourth week, that short act brings a feeling of peace, focus, and purpose that spreads into every other decision. The mind begins expecting this order, and resistance fades because the new routine meets the same need the old one did, yet with far better results. Swapping routines also shifts the emotional setting. When the mind sits, empty unease grows. You feel restless, worried, or pulled back to old ways. But if you have deliberately chosen an exchange, the unease finds constructive handling. Your mind learns that advancement comes not from escape or brief relief, but from purposeful movement. The series of exchanges creates a loop of empowerment. Each time you spot an old routine returning and guide it toward something better, you reinforce your inner authority. The brain starts expecting these choices. You stop battling your own urges. Instead, you lead them toward results you direct. Assurance appears naturally, not from dodging difficulty, but from consciously moving through it. The more steadily you swap and improve, the smoother and more automatic the process grows until purposeful choice becomes part of your daily structure. This process also lets you bear unease without yielding to it. Escape may feel simpler in the short run, yet growth demands stepping into what feels hard. Swapping escape with meaningful movement. Seneca once said, "Difficulties strengthen the mind, as labor strengthens the body." Each time you face a usual response and guide it toward growth, you literally reinforce the brain paths that control self-command. The more you practice, the less appealing the old ways become, because the new options feel satisfying, reachable, and matched to your aims. In the end, steadiness and assurance form not through raw will, but through a thoughtful system of exchanges that honors the mind's needs while guiding it toward purpose. When you see what each routine truly does, and swap it for something that meets the same role in a useful way, you create an inner system that supports rather than fights you. Deeds grow predictable. Aims grow dependable. Assurance becomes a natural result of the setting you have deliberately shaped. Next, you need swift, clear, honest input. Most people stumble not from lack of work, but from missing sight of what needs fixing. Without input, deeds become guesses, and guesses slowly weaken steadiness. You can drive yourself hard, yet if you cannot see what to improve, effort alone will not bring growth. Review is not extra, it is necessary. At the close of each day, stop and ask what succeeded, what fell short, what small change can I make tomorrow to draw nearer my aims. Each reply becomes a tool, a stepping stone, a guide for the next move. When you track your deeds instead of awaiting outcomes, you regain command of the process. Results come late, stay uncertain, and often fall under outside influence. What you can direct is your conduct, your attention, and the steps you choose daily. By examining yourself with honesty, you change uncertainty into clear sight. Assurance builds gradually. It is not the sudden win of instant success, but the quiet gathering of lessons learned and used. Swift input also stops wasted effort. When you pause to judge what truly advances progress, you cut out repeated or useless moves. Small, thoughtful fixes prevent growing mistakes that could throw you off course. Across time, each day turns into a test. Each observation offers a chance to sharpen your method. Rather than viewing errors as defeats, you see them as information, raw and valuable clues that show exactly where to direct attention next. This outlook changes irritation into strength, turning every slip into a lesson that builds rather than breaks. The practice of review also heightens awareness of your own patterns. You start noticing the distractions, excuses, and emotional urges that regularly pull you aside. By recording these patterns, you draw a map of your conduct that reveals where strength and weakness live together. Across time, this lets you adjust ahead of time and shape your days to reduce resistance and increase purposeful movement. Epictetus once said, "First declare what you wish to become, and then do what must be done." Understanding your conduct through input lines up your deeds with your aims and builds a bridge between your present self and the self you seek. The strength of review grows stronger when joined with honesty. It is easy to excuse or soften mistakes to ease the truth about what you avoided or delayed. Yet honesty turns input into command. Facing the truth of your deeds, admitting weaknesses, and naming clear improvements creates a mind that stays strong, sharp, and self-reliant. Across time, this forms a mental world where assurance no longer feels fragile because it rests on facts rather than wishes. Success stops being chance. It becomes the natural result of purposeful, informed movement. Input also builds momentum. When you notice what works, you strengthen it at once. Even small wins, when recognized and understood, gather into a feeling of forward motion that carries you through doubtful or tiring days. Momentum forms less through large leaps and more through a steady line of small, intentional steps. Seneca once said, "Every fresh start comes from the end of something else." Daily review lets you see both endings and beginnings, so you can adjust and improve without pause, making sure each day stays useful and deliberate. Review prevents standstill by keeping your mind active in change. Without checking, you slip into automatic habits, repeating moves that once helped but no longer serve. By steadily examining results and methods, you keep flexibility, adjusting plans while holding your longer path. It is inside this cycle of movement, observation, and adjustment that real development appears. You start working with accuracy, clear sight, and direction, even in settings that once left you frustrated or unsure. In the end, the active input changes effort into skill and repetition into command. When you know what to sharpen, each decision carries weight. Each deed becomes purposeful. Each day invests in ability and assurance. Marcus Aurelius once said, "Look deeply inside yourself. There lies a spring of strength that will always rise if you will only look." By examining yourself daily, you reach that spring. You build assurance that is neither weak nor passing, but lasting, earned, and self-supporting. Across time, this practice of review and adjustment turns ordinary effort into remarkable outcomes and creates a base that upholds every later test, every bold aim, and every measure of character. Now consider the weight of hesitation. Every time you pause, waver, or argue whether to move, you drain your resolve without noticing. Each moment spent in doubt diverts energy from doing, leaving you spent before any real step forward. Assurance stays quiet. It does not debate itself or bargain endlessly. It advances with calm decision, needing no constant reassurance. Clarity appears when you commit completely and remove the chance to waver. Luck arrives when preparation meets chance. Preparation is not guessing on the spot. It is a careful matching of aim and deed. By deciding once and cutting repeated choices, you free your mind from the mental drag of constant weighing. Commit to your plan, your deeds, your standards, and let no situation, mood, or passing doubt rule your effort. This is not stiffness. It is wise method. Each choice made ahead forms a structure that supports every deed you take. The power of this method lies in how it saves and directs energy. When you stop bargaining with yourself, you stop wasting focus on small questions. Your mind becomes free to work at full power, to carry out with accuracy, and to answer challenges without delay. Each task shifts from a matter of choice to a matter of method, from debate to purposeful motion. Assurance grows quietly in these moments because it no longer needs outside praise or changing drive. Hesitation acts as a quiet thief. You may believe you are carefully weighing options, yet in truth delay eats time and mental strength you will never recover. By deciding early and removing needless choices, you change the mind into a tool of clear sight and power. Even when surprise barriers appear, you work from certainty rather than doubt. Every deed taken from this place gathers into a steady rhythm of ability that becomes natural. There's also a mental effect to this method. Once you fully commit to a decision, you change your relation to fear, delay, and distraction. These forces no longer feel unbeatable because your attention anchors in purposeful choice, not shifting feeling. The act of deciding once turns doubt into chance. It lets you advance without questioning every small detail or freezing over imagined results. In this manner, decision is not only useful, it is freeing. Your daily plan, your routines, and your priorities grow stronger when you remove hesitation. Every repeated choice you cut saves energy for meaningful deeds. The more you practice this, the less mental drag you feel, and the more naturally assurance appears. It no longer needs conscious force. It becomes part of your daily structure and the routines you have deliberately formed. The mind, freed from repeated small fights, grows able to face larger tests. This truth also applies to how you deal with people and situations. When facing choices about connections, work, or personal aims, deciding your limits, replies, and standards ahead lets you act steadily. You stop reacting on impulse or letting passing feelings override longer aims. Instead, you work from self-command. Every exchange becomes purposeful rather than automatic, and assurance grows because your deeds match your values, not the changing moods of circumstance. Finally, consider the gathering effect across time. Each decision made once, each needless choice removed, builds a mental structure of efficiency and clear sight. Your mind becomes a tool that works with direction and accuracy. Epictetus once said, "No one is free who has not mastered himself." By removing hesitation, you master your inner world, and from that mastery rises a confidence that is quiet, steady, and clear. It asks for no attention, and it does not weaken amid disorder. It grows silently, gathering with each purposeful, well-directed deed until it shapes how you move through every day. Even with decision and review, steadiness can slip if you fail to grasp the baseline. It feels simple to perform when energy runs high, attention stays sharp, and life cooperates. Yet real development is measured in the moments when conditions oppose you, when drive stays low and everything seems to fight your effort. Forming routines that last through hard days forms the cornerstone of unbreakable assurance. Outside events will always stay uncertain, yet your reply to them lies within your control. Seeing this difference lets you move with purpose rather than being tossed by circumstance. On the hardest days, ask yourself, what is the smallest step I can take that keeps forward motion alive? One forward step, no matter how modest, shows mental strength. It need not be flawless or complete. You may not finish the full session, solve the entire issue, or hold the perfect talk. Yet appearing in some form keeps the rhythm of progress. By taking even the smallest action steadily, you tell your mind that your promises cannot be negotiated. That modest motion is what gathers across time into something powerful. The strength of holding a baseline lies in how it shields you from the rule of circumstances. Life will bring tests, interruptions, and surprise demands. Without a minimum level, you risk losing all momentum whenever conditions fall short. But when you know that even the smallest effort counts, you remove the excuse of waiting for the right time. You start to see that action does not depend on mood, energy, or ease. It is the choice to advance no matter what. Across time, this truth plants a quiet certainty that no outside power can shake. Assurance is not formed on occasional strong efforts. It is shaped in the steady repeat of small purposeful deeds, done even when they feel inadequate. On strong days, when energy and attention flow freely, stretch past the baseline. Take time to increase your effort, deepen your involvement, and push a little beyond yesterday. The difference between those who weaken and those who last lies not in talent or chance, but in the willingness to stay present through both hard and good days. This double method makes sure steadiness stays strong, able to bear both opposition and plenty. This method also trains the mind to carry unease without yielding. When your baseline stays low enough to achieve even in tough settings, you lessen the mental drag that comes from facing barriers. By taking manageable steps in difficult conditions, you build an inner proof that progress continues even when the world turns unpredictable. Carl Jung once said that inside all disorder lies a hidden order. Each small deed, under imperfect conditions, forms a stone in that unseen order, creating structure amid chaos and letting assurance bloom quietly, unseen, yet fully real. Small, steady actions grow momentum that stays hidden at first, but becomes undeniable with time. The mind learns that even minimal effort creates continuity, and that continuity builds ability. One day, the collection of these modest, stubborn deeds turns into a force that carries you ahead, even when drive is missing. The act of appearing itself becomes routine, a built-in guard against slowdown. Each repeat strengthens the brain paths that guide disciplined conduct, making the mind strong, dependable, and able to hold steady focus. The heart of this practice is readiness for imperfection. On days when everything lines up perfectly, the baseline may feel small, almost needless. Yet it is exactly this extra layer that keeps you effective when conditions turn hard. Seneca once said, "Difficulties strengthen the mind as labor does the body." By committing to action, no matter the setting, you strengthen mental endurance. You grow the assurance that comes not from ease or comfort, but from knowing progress remains possible under any condition, and that your mind and routines hold strength enough to carry you forward. In the end, it is the joining of baseline steadiness and deliberate stretching on good days that creates dangerous confidence. The minimal step ensures survival. The extra step ensures growth. Each move, however small, shows command over mind and body, a clear statement that circumstance does not decide results. The gathering effect of these purposeful, stubborn deeds changes ordinary effort into remarkable endurance. By understanding your baseline, honoring the need for small, reachable steps, and increasing effort when conditions allow, you form a system of advancement that no test can break. Yet action without recognition stays weak. Humans are built to seek satisfaction, acknowledgement, and visible progress. Effort that feels unseen or thankless soon fades because the mind quietly judges value through support. Even the most disciplined person will struggle when daily work leaves no mark of completion. That is why small, purposeful wins matter. Each time you reach a milestone, however modest, you create proof that your effort yields results. Tracking what you do, rather than awaiting outside outcomes, makes progress visible, real, and motivating. Recognizing and honoring small wins is not self-indulgence. It is wise method. Sending that one message, finishing one outreach, or taking one step toward a larger aim may appear unimportant right then. Yet these deeds gather into momentum. Each success sends a quiet signal to the mind that action leads to achievement. Carl Jung once said, "Until you bring the unconscious into light, it will guide your life, and you will name it fate." Acknowledging your effort reveals patterns of endurance and effectiveness that would otherwise stay hidden. It creates a loop where action strengthens assurance and assurance encourages more action. The worth of support is not only mental, it is structural. By recording and marking progress, you draw a map of ability. Your brain starts linking discipline with reward. Even when the reward stays symbolic, a simple mark, a note in a journal, or recording a finished task builds a feeling of completion that gathers across time. These tiny supports act as accelerators. They change routine effort into a lasting rhythm that does not lean only on drive or outside approval. Without them, even the best plans can weaken. Review also holds a key role in support. Noticing what you did well and where small improvements can occur sharpens your sense of progress. It turns raw movement into purposeful practice. Epictetus once said, "It is not what happens to you, but how you answer it that matters." By consciously recognizing effort, you train the mind to focus on your own power rather than outside conditions. Each recognition of achievement, however small, reminds you that you can direct the elements within your reach, and this builds a lasting form of assurance. Support grows stronger when joined with deliberate tracking. Measuring conduct rather than awaiting distant results shifts attention to what you can control. You cannot promise a sale, an outcome, or praise from others, yet you can make sure the work is done steadily and properly. Tracking conduct lets you spot patterns, understand what succeeds, and adjust what fails. Across time, this creates a system where ability becomes visible and self-trust grows naturally from evidence rather than hope. Even symbolic rewards carry weight because the mind answers to recognition. A finished list, a short note of success, or praise from someone you respect confirms effort in a meaningful way. These signs create continuity and strength, reinforcing the idea that your deeds matter. Seneca once said, "Luck is what happens when preparation meets opportunity." Recognizing small wins serves as preparation. It strengthens the mind to seize opportunity when it arrives because the brain has already felt the satisfaction of completion and endurance. Assurance thrives not only on large successes, but on the gathering of small supported deeds. Each tiny win offers proof to the mind that you are able, that effort holds meaning, and that steadiness brings advancement. This is how quiet, lasting assurance is formed. You are training the mind to trust itself, to value purposeful movement, and to see that every step carries weight. The result is momentum that holds you even when drive fades, when conditions turn imperfect, or when tests seem too large. Finally, consider that the system of support is what changes ordinary effort into remarkable endurance. When action is recognized, tracked, and honored, you create a mental structure that upholds continued advancement. By supporting each step, no matter how small, you grow routines that last. You build assurance that is self-sufficient, based on evidence, and able to carry you through uncertainty. It is through this careful joining of effort, recognition, and review that assurance becomes not a passing feeling, but a lasting, structured condition that grows quietly, yet powerfully, with every purposeful deed. All these pieces come together in a network of discipline, review, and thoughtful exchange. The elements we have shaped separately, moving under imperfect conditions, swapping unhelpful patterns, examining daily deeds, removing hesitation, and keeping routines that endure both good and hard days, start to connect and strengthen one another. The mind becomes like a well-tuned tool, able to answer with clear sight to whatever situation arises. You begin noticing a change. Fear no longer rules your choices. Distractions lose their hold. Inner doubt shrinks, because each day strengthens the proof of your ability. When the mind is prepared in this manner, even disorder cannot shake it. There's a quiet accuracy in every move, a feeling that you are not answering blindly, but steering with purpose. Barriers that once felt crushing become manageable, because you have trained yourself to work from a base of steadiness and endurance. Carl Jung once said, "One does not reach enlightenment by picturing light, but by bringing darkness into awareness, by meeting difficulty with full purpose, by consciously forming replies instead of avoiding unease. You change doubt into power. Each challenge becomes practice for command, rather than a danger to your balance. This inner strength is subtle, yet unmistakable. Assurance created in this way does not need applause, praise, or outside approval. It grows quietly, almost unnoticed, as your deeds line up with meaning and principle. You learn to trust the structure you have formed, the systems that no longer lean on passing moods or uneven drive. Each step strengthens the next, and across time, the gathering effect creates a presence that others sense before they see it. Your mind, trained in purposeful movement and review, becomes a stronghold, and you move through life with the steady calm of someone whose power rises from within. The true power rests in the purpose behind each deed. Every decision, however modest, adds to a network of supported conduct that keeps momentum and builds endurance. Routines stop being accidental. They become purposeful tools that shape results and character alike. This kind of assurance differs from bold show or surface certainty. It is grounded, trained, and lasting, because it has been tested again and again under imperfect conditions. Each day that you appear, take purposeful steps, and support meaningful deeds, you are gathering strength. You are forming a mind that expects challenges rather than fearing them. You grow able to make decisions that matter, not reacting on impulse to circumstances, and your presence carries the weight of someone who has shaped inner order. Seneca once said, "The brave person is free." Bravery here means advancing with purpose even when fear, doubt, or disorder surround you, and freedom is the assurance that naturally arises from that choice. Thoughtful exchange of old patterns plays a key role in this change. Routines that once drained energy or strengthened doubt are traded for deeds that aid growth and reinforce ability. Across time, the mind starts expecting useful replies, cutting resistance and raising efficiency. Even small wins, steadily supported, gather into strong inner momentum. The more ordered your answer to life's uncertainty, the less outside elements control your state of mind. By steadily swapping old conduct with purposeful, growth-focused deeds, excellence becomes part of your daily fabric, and assurance appears as a natural result. Removing hesitation holds equal importance. Every delay, every undecided choice uses mental energy and weakens resolve. By deciding once, setting your standards, and committing to movement, you save thinking power for execution rather than weighing. Each purposeful choice simplifies later decisions, creating a chain of efficiency that frees the mind to focus on meaningful advancement. This clear sight lessens worry, reduces inner doubt, and lets assurance bloom quietly yet powerfully. In the end, dangerous confidence is the result of repeated conscious effort under imperfect conditions, ordered review, and the forming of strong routines. It is a confidence that holds steady when conditions change because it rises internally from the shaping of your deeds rather than outside elements. The mind becomes a self-sustaining engine of accuracy, endurance, and calm certainty. It is quiet, purposeful, and unbreakable, grown through discipline and review. By mastering these practices, you form a presence that carries command, focus, and endurance, and you move through the world with a certainty that does not depend on chance or circumstance. Finally, realize that confidence is not a final stop. It is a system. It is not something you suddenly feel one day, nor the complete lack of fear or doubt. True assurance rises from structures, routines, and practices that make fear unimportant, because the mind is trained to answer with purpose rather than react on impulse. The world will always test you, pressure will grow, distractions will appear, setbacks will happen. Yet a mind that has been disciplined, examined, and prepared can move through these tests with quiet accuracy. Each routine, each small win, each purposeful choice gathers into a framework that supports movement even amid disorder. The heart of this system is preparation. You cannot depend on passing drive, chance, or raw ability, because those stay unreliable and uneven. What you can depend on is the structure you have formed for yourself, the daily practices tested under imperfect conditions, the conscious swaps of old patterns with useful ones, the removal of hesitation, and the purposeful review of your own conduct. Marcus Aurelius once said, "The soul takes on the color of its thoughts." By growing disciplined, intentional thought and deed, your mind takes on endurance and assurance that is self-supporting and free from circumstance. Step by step, day by day, the repeat of these deeds trains the brain to expect effective replies instead of being swayed by distraction or fear. Even when reversals occur, your answer is not panic or retreat, but measured movement based on systems you have shaped. This is why the most able people seem unbreakable. They do not lean on feelings to guide them. They have formed a mind that produces action no matter outside conditions. Across time, assurance stops being a weak feeling and becomes an automatic result of steady, well-shaped practice. Even when tests feel crushing, the system you have formed makes sure you answer rather than react. You stop depending on energy levels, mood, or outside conditions. By shaping routines that work under both good and hard days, and by examining each deed to understand its effect, you have created a mind that can function effectively in any setting. The gathering of small, purposeful steps lies beneath every great achievement, and assurance grows quietly in the background, unseen, yet unstoppable. The purposeful practice of review, exchange, and support creates a loop that steadily strengthens your ability. Each success, no matter how modest, becomes proof that the system works and that your effort yields results. Recognition and awareness of these gradual wins are not luxuries. They are necessary sparks. Command over yourself also changes how you see risk and doubt. Decisions that once felt daunting become reachable, because the systems guiding your deeds remove confusion. Each routine exchange and review strengthens the mind's power to expect challenges, lessening the mental load of fear. In the end, assurance is the result of relentless, thoughtful application. It is formed not on conditions or brief inspiration, but on the daily disciplined choices that define who you are. Step by step, these routines form a base that makes fear unimportant, distraction manageable, and delay impossible. Across time, you become someone who acts, succeeds, and continues, not because life stays easy, but because you stand ready for anything. Every day, every decision, every purposeful deed gathers into a state of quiet, lasting power that is unmistakable and unstoppable. Even when confidence is structured, purposeful, and strong, there remains one final layer that divides those who last from those who merely continue. The power to welcome unease as a guide rather than a danger. Life will always bring tests that feel unjust, crushing, or beyond control. The mind naturally pulls away from pain and doubt, yet avoiding them limits development. By stepping into unease and watching it without judgment, you gain understanding of your own capacity. Carl Jung once said, "You are what you do, not what you claim you will do." True assurance shows itself in the act of advancing when everything inside urges retreat. When fear suggests that the safest path is stillness, unease also serves as a measure. It signals where your routines, abilities, or outlook face testing. Each moment of discomfort offers a chance to learn about your strengths and limits. By noticing how you reply, you can sharpen your method, strengthen weak areas, and build endurance. It is not about seeking pain or hardship without reason, but about realizing that the growth you seek often hides in the spaces that feel difficult. This awareness changes how you see struggle, from something to fear into something to engage with purpose as a tool rather than a barrier. Lasting assurance thrives on repeat in these moments. Each time you choose to act despite unease, you reinforce the structure of your routines and the dependability of your systems. You create an inner store of evidence that proves to yourself action remains possible even when conditions stay far from ideal. By approaching unease with purposeful movement, rather than escape, you train your mind to stay calm, disciplined, and able under pressure. The result is a subtle yet unbreakable assurance that needs neither outside approval nor perfect conditions. This practice also sharpens judgment. When you face challenges with purpose, you start seeing more clearly which deeds are essential and which are distractions. The clear sight that comes from meeting unease is priceless. It lets you set priorities, focus attention, and direct energy wisely. Across time, your replies become less automatic and more accurate, guided by insight rather than urge. Another result of welcoming unease is heightened awareness of control. You realize that while outside events cannot be directed, your choices and your effort always remain within your reach. This understanding frees you from the illusion that assurance depends on conditions. You learn that true power rises from the inner world you cultivate, not from outside approval or ease. Each act of endurance in the face of challenge reinforces the truth that your mind is the source of stability, and your routines are the structure that upholds it. Across time, steadily engaging with unease changes it into opportunity. What once triggered delay, worry, or escape becomes a signal to move, to test your limits, and to expand your capacity. By reframing struggle as information rather than danger, you line yourself with the natural flow of growth. Finally, welcoming unease fits smoothly with all the other principles you have developed: purposeful movement, review, exchange of old patterns, removal of hesitation, and the support of small wins. It completes the system by making sure no circumstance, no matter how harsh, can weaken the structure you have formed. Assurance becomes not a product of outside conditions or occasional spark, but a steady, dependable force generated from within. You move through challenges with accuracy, clear sight, and calm certainty, knowing that the mind trained in this way stands ready for any test, any barrier, and any doubt. When the mind is ordered, routines stay strong, decisions stay firm, effort is recognized, and unease is welcomed. You reach a rare state: dangerous confidence. It is quiet, steady, and unbreakable. It does not need to be shown. It simply exists as the result of the systems you have formed, the choices you have supported, and the purposeful engagement with life's natural uncertainty. Plato once said, "The beginning holds the greatest importance in any work. Each purposeful deed, each modest step, each moment of bravery amid unease is a beginning that gathers into a life of command. You are no longer defined by circumstance, fear, or delay, but by the power, endurance, and steadiness you have grown." Step by step, day by day, the mind becomes a stronghold, and confidence changes from a weak feeling into an enduring, self-supporting state of being. Remember this: confidence is not given. It is earned through the choices you make, the small deeds you take when no one watches, and the discipline you carry into every challenge. Step into your power. Take command of your mind and act with purpose, because the world will test you. Yet you are stronger than any circumstance. If you want to take this further, watch the next video on the screen and see how to turn these principles into unstoppable action every day. Thank you for being part of the Seneca mode and for committing to growth, reflection, and mastery.